Hello, my name is Jim and I've got a gig tonight. I'm going to be backlining my kit and sharing it with the other bands on the bill, and I'm just about to break everything down and pack it up for the gig. I thought it would be kind of fun to record the process and get sort of a sped up sequence of me breaking everything down. And it got me thinking about gear logistics and the reasons that drummers have multiple drum sets. Many years ago, I was studying jazz with a really great drum teacher, and he had this beautiful kit that was always packed up in cases in his hallway, ready to go to the next gig. And when I go down to his basement where the lessons were conducted, all the lessons were conducted on some pretty beat up entry-level kits. And in seeing the way he had things set up, I realized that what he was doing really minimized the effort required to set up and break down drums all the time. Way back when I was taking those jazz lessons, I also had a weekly jazz gig of my own, and I followed my teacher's model. I had a made-in-Japan kit with an 18-inch bass drum that was always set up in my basement for the purpose of practice, and I used my Ludwig Jazzette kit for the gig, and that would always be packed up in my dining room. For that particular gig, we didn't have any rehearsals at all, so the only logistics involved were the day after the gig, I would bring my snare and my cymbals down in the basement to practice on for the week, because I like to use my best snare and cymbals even when I'm practicing. In my current band, we have rehearsals once per week, and we have a gig about once per month. Over the past several years, I've been really fortunate in that the place where we rehearse has a drum set available for me to use. So again, I just bring my snare and my cymbals back and forth. In earlier lineups of the band, I would keep one of my drum sets at the place where we practice, and then I would set up an identical or as close as possible setup at home for practicing on. There was one point in our band's history where we were at a kind of a sketchy rehearsal space, and during that period I bought a really inexpensive Pearl export kit used. I think it was like $225. It actually looked pretty good. It was a purple set, and I used that at the rehearsal space, and that way if anything happened to it, I wouldn't be that worried about losing anything. Another reason for drummers to have multiple drum sets is really around the sound. You may want to have different drum sets that are appropriate to different styles of music that you may be playing. Several years ago, I sold that made-in-Japan kit that I had because I wasn't really using it very much, and instead I bought a Pearl Session Custom set because I wanted some bigger drums. That has a 24-inch bass drum. And now I have sets with 18, 20, 22, and 24-inch bass drums. So I can support a wide variety of sounds, and I can still have similar sets in multiple locations. For my band's album, Your Call is very important to us. For a few of the songs, I used a 7-piece drum set. I was getting all extravagant with the toms. And even then, I was able to support 2 different locations with that drum set. Lately, I've been having a rock setup in this room, really to support practicing and different recordings I've been doing for the band and so forth. And I have my jazzette set up in the back in case I ever get inspired to work on some jazz and try and revive some of that jazz playing that I used to have. My band plays original music, and typically on the bill when we play, there are multiple bands on the bill. Today there are going to be 2 additional bands. Often there are 2 or 3 additional bands. And it's always nice when someone shares their drum set so that we don't have to have crazy logistics during the gig. So I need to get back to the task at hand. I'm happy to be that drummer today who's going to share his kit for everyone else to use. Of course, sans the breakables, the snare, and the cymbals. So today I have the added benefit, or the added task, of breaking down the microphones, because the last thing I was doing is recording. I hope this video was helpful to you in terms of getting you to think about logistics and the different sounds and what kind of equipment you might need in different places. Anyway, have a great day. What's going to happen now, we'll see how it comes out, is my breakdown sequence. Have a good one. So now that you've seen the drum set breakdown sequence, I want to end the video with a very, very important note. In fact, it might be the most important thing of the entire video. And that is the following. The gear that you have does not make you a good drummer. The most important thing is what you can do with what you've got. So I'm going to end the video with that. And thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day or evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for watching.